Good morning to our fellow teachers, mentors, and ministers in the field of education. I am Mr. Ben Sazon, Social Action Head of De La Salle Santiago Zobel School. My task is to simply share how we run our social formation program in our online distance learning setup. My presentation is segmented into 3 parts. On the first part, I'm going to share our ODL social formation program. Second would be I will be talking about community partnerships. And lastly, how academic integration help us in implementing our advocacies for this academic year. I hope that by the end of my presentation, and after sharing our best practices, I will be able to help you gain some insights on how you would want to run your formation program for this year. Also, there will be time to answer your queries at the end of our talk. First, let me introduce you to our unit, the Social Action Office. Our unit is under the Lasallian Formation and Mission Department that is responsible for the transforming of knowledge gained by the learners in the classroom into action and develop the zeal for service through discovering, experiencing, and witnessing the life of the children, especially the youth at risk and other marginalized sector in the community. Our unit provide a holistic and relevant formation which are integrated in the curriculum that fosters strong civic responsibility and solidarity with the marginalized sector of the society. We continuously reflect and discern dynamic programs that answers to the signs of the times. It should stand for an environmentally responsive, culturally appreciative, religiously undiscriminating, and gender-sensitive programs that geared towards empowerment and development. The social awareness program of the Social Action Office may seem difficult to carry out, especially now that we are on quarantine and ODL. But our unit continues to conduct social formation programs, service learning, volunteer work, and community service activities by integrating it with our academic subjects. To ensure the safety and security of our pupils and students, there will be no actual exposure or visits to partner communities, schools, and institutions for this year. Regular outreach programs are only integrated in the academic curriculum. Each grade level is expected to have at least one academic integration and will be counted as the regular outreach activity for the academic year. Therefore, calling it as a social formation program would be most appropriate. Each level was given an assigned advocacy that is aligned with the core value that we wanted to highlight. This will also serve as their basis for academic and values integration. These are as follows. For pre-kinder, love and friendship, inclusivity. Kinder, sharing of talents and gifts, empowerment. Grade 1, we are all parts of the God's family, spec. Grade 2, stewards of creation, environment. Okay, so these are the core value and advocacy that we would wanted to highlight for our lower grades. For our upper grade students, for grade 3, we have God is with us, children's rights. Grade 4, God is good to others, plight of the indigenous people. For grade 5, God is caring, environment, particularly on solid waste management. And grade 6, God's call for discipleship, plight of former street children. And for our junior high school students, we have, for grade 7, solidarity in faith, peace building. Grade 8, stewardship, care for the environment, specific on sustainability. For grade 9, rights of children, inclusive education. Grade 10, social issues, integrity of human person. And for our senior high school students, we have series of webinar series on sustainable development goals and introduction to research. For grade 12, we still continue to have our strand-based research project implementation based on the data gathered last year. So these research projects will be implemented in our Zero Extreme Poverty partner community in Muntinlupa. So the instructions, activities, inputs, and discussions, evaluations, and reflection writing will be done through CISO for grade school and Google Classroom for high school in coordination with the subject teachers and academic coordinators. While we prepare for an intensive academic integration, us, the social action ministers, will also set series of meetings to our partner communities, schools, and institutions to make sure that collaboration and relative community projects are in place. To enrich the program further, the Social Action Office may invite resource persons or a Lasallian brother who are field experts and has always been formators and successful in promoting their personal advocacies. This can all be done by conducting webinars or online asynchronous sessions. So basically, the academic integration with our programs is designed to give a sense of normalcy and learning continuity while we pursue social engagements, despite the challenge presented through online setup, which leads me to my next point. Allow me to elaborate on community engagements or partnerships. With schools, institutions, and communities is the fulfillment of our evangelizing mission as a Catholic institution. We establish a mutually beneficial relationship that is life-affirming, capacitating, liberating, and people-centered, where the people themselves are molders of their own development. We accompany our partners using education as a tool to respond to the needs of children and youth at risk towards the attainment of social justice and empowerment. At the moment, De La Salle Santiago Zobel School has this list of partners that we collaborate with on different projects and activities by our students, faculty, and our unit. So far, we have 6 partner public schools, we have 6 government institutions, 1 orphanage, 4 non-government organizations, and 2 community partners, and 2 church partners. When the pandemic came, we were still able to find ways and means to cater to the needs of our partner communities, schools, and institutions based on the 3-year development plan that we have set with them. Since face-to-face interaction is not allowed, we were able to convert our programs to online distance learning through intensive communication and coordination. So here are some of our programs that we were able to push through in spite of the pandemic and online instructions. So for this academic year, we took the time to review our engagements and prioritize that we can only offer online. With our limitations, we were able to maximize the use of technology via Messenger or FB and other video streaming platforms, and also used our strength as an academic institution. So these are some of the engagements that we had since the start of the school year. So we had Angat Guro series for our partner public schools. So far, we have already implemented 2 of them. So 1 in Calatagan and 1 in Muntinlupa. Okay? And we also have different kinds of COVID-19 initiatives. Okay? So we have also student-led initiatives, specifically by our grade 8 students as their alternative outreach activity for academic 2019 to 2020. So they were able to give food to our frontliners in one of the hospitals in Muntinlupa. We've also partnered with Give PH. We were able to have 4 runs of assorted goods and rice to our partner community in Muntinlupa. We've also participated in the Kada Uno Lasaliano by encouraging our students to perform as part of the fundraiser led by Brother Armin Luistro, FSC. So this is a De La Salle Philippines-led project that hopes to support and feed 1,000 families that are greatly affected by the pandemic. We've also had initiatives from our Independent Teachers Union. They were able to support the needs of our families living in Botolan, Zambales. It's an indigenous community. They were able to support 200 families of Lakas Bihawa for Aita community. And we've also tried to encourage our alumni. So specifically for batch 2012, they were able to raise a fairly amount of money to feed 440 families to our 3 partner communities at the moment really affected by the pandemic. So now I would like to move on our discussion to our advocacy program. As our school commits itself to the pursuit of Lasallian excellence through relevant and progressive learning, it continues to create spaces to raise the Lasallian community's social awareness, provide a safe avenue for discussions, and encourage the community to come up with action plans based on their chosen advocacy. Through our unit and the academic community, we work hand in hand to give opportunities to students by providing them venues for exposure according to DLSZ and De La Salle Philippines' major advocacies on good governance, rights of children and youth, the environment, poverty alleviation, and justice and peace. I mentioned a while ago that all of our academic integration is related to an advocacy and a core value that we would wanted to highlight. The beauty of academic integration is that it makes the subject matter more relevant to the students and it gives them a deeper sense of significance or meaning of what they are doing because it is tied up with real-life situations. The work of the social action ministers complements what is being taught inside the classroom. Teaming up with the academe makes use of the time, effort, and academic output more efficient. So here are some samples of our advocacy programs that are integrated in the academics. For our senior high school, I've already mentioned this before. We've already had 3 episodes of conversations towards sustainable development. Then each sustainable development goal, we were able to invite experts on the field also to further elaborate and give more inputs to our students. We've also had a webinar entitled Kaya Panihuan, ang Lasaliano sa pagtugon sa mga hamon ng pandemya. We've invited Dr. Ronald Holmes to elaborate on this one. And then for our academic integration for the junior high school, just this week, we will be launching our virtual exhibit entitled Choosing Life and Defending Democracy, Pursuing the Value of Human Dignity During the Time of Pandemic, as we celebrate our Lasallian Human Rights and Democracy and Peace Month also. So the virtual exhibit will run from September 16 to October 16. For our grade schoolers, we have integrated our advocacy on the environment. So currently, they are discussing the encyclical letter of Pope Francis, Laudato Si, Care for Our Common Home. To further amplify our awareness in social, political, and developmental issues, we adhere to the advocacy direction plans of the De La Salle Philippines, care of the Lasallian Justice and Peace Commission. All LaSalle schools are encouraged to discuss public issues, make a reflection about the public issues, and think of ways on how to improve the situation. So anchored on the Lasallian guiding principles, both learners, faculty, and staff have opportunities to experience attending online fora on relevant public issues, virtual classroom discussions or roundtable discussions, and uploading of advocacy publication materials on different social media platforms. So these are some of the integrated activities with De La Salle Philippines that we were able to pull it through last August. It is entitled Sona Suri, Analyzing the State of the Nation in the Midst of Pandemic. We were able to invite all the Lasallian schools all over the country. We're talking about 16 schools. And we were able to invite also experts on specific fields like economics, politics, and health then also. Okay. We've also launched different kinds of publication materials to push further our advocacies. For example, we have for the indigenous people, and for Araw ng mga Bayani also. So understanding of the issues through exposure to real-world condition is the only first step. The next part will be taking actions that will help alleviate the condition of those affected. So this poster shows some of our student-initiated projects addressing the need of their fellow student and at the same time addressing real-world problems and concerns. So these are some of the projects of our SRCC Student Council. They've also virtually launched Tiny Garden, addressing our call to take good care of the environment. So perhaps these projects cannot immediately solve the issue at hand, but for our student, it is an effort to improve the situation. So the Lasallian Reflection Framework of Masid Danas, Suri Nilay, and Taya Kilos is what we use to conclude a sound judgment, have a critical reflection, and arrive at appropriate actions in heightening awareness when we deal with social issues. We always say that the pandemic should not stop us from reaching out to the outside world. We should think of ways and means to collaborate. We see to it that we maximize the use of technology in connecting with our networks, partner communities, and beneficiaries of the programs that we are implementing. Lastly, I just want to say that all these projects would not be possible or successful without the dedication and commitment of my team, the social action ministers, whose work-life integration is astounding. So I hope you were able to have some takeaways from my presentation this morning on how you want to facilitate and manage your social formation program efficiently despite the challenge of ODL this year. And with that, I'd like to thank you and Animo Lasal.